9/10, we were burying our heads in the sand, or we were playing politics. It was about Republicans or Democrats.
On 9/10, I was a new mom. It was bittersweet. I was so happy to have a beautiful child. I wasn't a happy person. I wasn't a happy person. I'd just be almost saying to myself, looking at this beautiful child, like, oh my God, what's ahead of me? Like, how am I going to do this? I learned a lot about myself, and I was finding it hard for the first time in my life to walk and chew gum at the same time. I really didn't feel like I was able to admit that I was depressed.
On 9/11, we were freaking out, and no one knew who attacked us. Where did this come from? What is this?
Well, I was actually working, and I was sort of devastated because I didn't know where my son Gary was. I remember making calls to my daughter-in-law, Bonnie, and she said it was all right. I think my first phone call, she said, he's in the second building. In other words, the building that wasn't hit by the plane. And then, of course, a few minutes later, the plane went into that building. They tried to kill my son, and I took that personally.
I was frightened, but I was almost like, this is it. This is it. And it wasn't such a terrible thought at that moment. It really wasn't, because I was a little hopeless. And that feeling started to take over a little bit up until that point.
On 9/12, no one in the government had to tell us what to do. We just did it.
There is a dedicated group of people that didn't forget. There's a dedicated group of people that made a promise to themselves on 9/11 to find out what was going on, and 9/12 to be a better person and a better American. I think those people are about to show the world what happens when Americans stand together. On 9/10, we were back to an America that really was arrogant. We were buried in garbage and selfishness and everything else. And on 9/12, none of that mattered.
I decided to apply for the services, feeling that I had something that I could do that would add to helping the troops. The only one that called me were the Navy, Marines, and they asked me if I would serve at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And I immediately agreed and went down there and served.
I found out the next day that we lost a very dear friend who left behind 3 children, who didn't have a dad anymore, who didn't have a parent anymore. It wasn't an option. It wasn't a choice. It was a horrible thing, but it was a wonderful thing, because then I felt, that I could go on. I felt like I could make a difference. I could make a difference in my own life. I wasn't ready to, I wasn't prepared to join the military or help the Red Cross or anything like that, but I could take care of my own business. And, I knew that in that day I had the ability to do that.
The legacy of 9/12 will be, we served each other, we helped each other, we held each other up, we fed each other. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who you were or what you looked like. Politics can say all kinds of bullcrap all the time and say, we need to come together, we need to do this, we need to do that. You know what? On 9/12, not a soul had to tell us. We just did it, and all barriers were gone. it is imperative in this time period where so much is going to be about hatred and bogus compassion, that we remember who we really are. We are not the people of 9/11. We are the people of 9/12.